Here on the ground, change happens fast. Problems feel frequent and urgent. It's loud and anxiety runs high. From a satellite view, the Earth looks the same as it did thousands of years ago. We've been here before. Let's learn from our past and shoot for a better future.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Satellite View. I'm Todd Mikkelson, your host, speaking at you from December 28th, Sunday, 2025, in the space and time continuum. We're in the middle of holiday season. I'm just going to do a short bit here today because it is in the middle of the holidays. New Year's is coming in a couple days, going into 2026, and we just finished the winter solstice celebration, some call Christmas. Very busy times, and I know you probably don't have as much time to listen to the show either. So I thought I would try and keep you a little bit up to date, but there's a very interesting thing that somebody else put up today that I'm going to go through in just a few minutes. But first, in today's update, there's not a whole lot. It was hard to follow news this week because there's not a lot of news going on because of Christmas, and Congress is not doing anything. You know, everything's on hold. And even some of the news outlets that I count on were trying to take a break as well. So they're bringing up stories that aren't necessarily brand new anymore. They're just kind of weeding through some stories, important stories of the last couple of weeks. But this is an ongoing thing. So let's get into a few short stories. And then, including just today, I kind of waited to see what was going to happen between Trump and Zelensky. And we still don't quite know because the ending of that meeting, I don't think has been broadcast yet as of the recording of this show, but I will tell you what happened at the beginning of it. First, I want to tell you about this very interesting story where Hunter Biden said that Melania Trump was introduced to Donald Trump by Jeffrey Epstein. He got that from Michael Wolff, like I did, and like a lot of people did. Michael Wolff, I've read a couple of his books. He's got a lot of insiders at the White House still now. And he began doing that by hanging out at the White House basically during Trump's first administration. He got a lot of interviews with Donald Trump. He sort of was an unofficial biographer of Donald Trump in a way. And Donald Trump was extremely candid with him, surprisingly. He also was going to, I think Jeffrey Epstein asked him to be his biographer. And he kind of turned him down, but then he was reconsidering, and then Jeffrey Epstein died. However, Michael Wolff has hours of interviews with Jeffrey Epstein, and he tells a lot of stories about Jeffrey Epstein showing him photos of Donald Trump with topless girls sitting on his lap and things like this. Now, he also said that Melania Trump was introduced to Donald Trump by Jeffrey Epstein, or at least put together by Jeffrey Epstein. And Hunter Biden said that, and then Melania Trump was going to sue Hunter Biden, not just sue him for like defamation and say, hey, stop saying it. No, $1 billion. $1 billion. This is what's so stupid about these idiots. I'm not going to do Trump's voice anymore. I almost went into it. But it's people like him that he's not just going to sue you. He's going to sue you for $1 trillion. So Melania Trump said, Hunter Biden, I sue you for $1 billion. Hunter Biden said, please do. Please do. I can't wait for the discovery period on that. So she chickens out. Then she says she's going to sue Michael Wolff, and Michael Wolff jumps at it first. There's some sort of like anti-slap or something. There's a thing where you can do where if somebody threatens to sue you, you can sue them. Because they're sort of calling you a liar in public already by threatening to sue you and calling you a liar in public already. So he now is suing her, and she won't accept, you know how you've been served. Michael Wolff keeps sending guys these services, serving services, to, first of all, Trump Tower, because that's actually where she lives. Now, even because of this, it has now been defined, definitively proven, that she does not live in the White House. She lives in Trump Tower. She's the first lady of the United States of America. She does not live in the White House. So he now is taking that to court, I think this week, possibly Monday, tomorrow. Because once you've tried to give the papers to the person you're suing and they keep avoiding you and they keep refusing to accept it, a court will say, no, they have to accept it now. So it's forced upon you. Then he can start subpoena process with her during the discovery. He wants depositions of her, Donald Trump, going back in history. He wants depositions from a lot of people to find out, because he said, hey, you've been introduced by Jeffrey Epstein and you're trying to say I'm a liar. Okay, I need deposition. My lawyer needs to question you about basically your whole history. How did you come to the United States? How did you get your work visa? How did you get the Einstein visa? Did you actually graduate from college? Do you actually know 5 languages? I doubt he'll ask that question. But that's what is going on. And if Melania Trump has to do a deposition, and or if Donald Trump has to do a deposition, and or if a lot of people have to do depositions, how much is going to be uncovered about Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein in the Michael Wolff subpoenas? I'm not trying to stick up for Michael Wolff or make him into a great guy. I don't know why he hasn't come out with all the information he knows. He's trying to make money by putting it in books. So a little bit of me is like, F you, Michael Wolff. But what he's doing may actually reveal a lot. Another thing, you heard about this CBS 60-minute segment that was canceled abruptly. Well, it was shown in Canada, and a lot of people think that Canada showed it illegally. No, Canada has full rights to shows like 60 Minutes. CBS is in the United States. Canada is not in the United States. Canada has contracts with CBS saying, hey, we can show your shows. But CBS can't cancel then what Canada already has. So Canada legally aired this CBS 60-minute segment on the Seacott prison. I'm sure you've heard about that. Then people in the United States were bootlegging it, making copies of it from Canada and showing it. Now, this is basically what used to happen in third world dictatorships, right? And right now, we are the third world dictatorship. Canada is not. Canada was free to show this show. But now CBS is totally under Donald Trump's control through this new chief editor or whatever she is. I can't remember her name right now. It doesn't. Weiss, I think, is her last name. And she's totally working for Donald Trump. It's obvious. So that's sort of the dictatorship third country thing. But now we have the internet. So that doesn't work anymore. You know how when we were kids and we learned about how third world countries lie to their people and deprive them of getting the news? Well, that can't happen anymore because people just post it on YouTube and then it lives forever. So Donald Trump tried to host a Kennedy Center Awards show the other night. That, of course, was aired where? On CBS. Well, more people, many more people, a multitude of people more, have watched this bootleg of the 60-minute segment on Seacott than watched the live broadcast of Trump doing the Kennedy Center BS, which is just hilarious. So these kind of dull headaches go on and on. So I'll do a quick Ukraine update. Hundreds of flights in Moscow are canceled during the holiday season because of drones coming in from Ukraine. Now, Ukraine is not targeting any civilian targets, but they have drones flying all around. So the main hubs in Moscow have canceled many, many flights and are basically shut down. Moscow, the big main capital city of Russia. It's turning a lot of people who normally don't talk about politics in Russia, don't care about politics in Russia, or who believe the lies Putin tells them in Russia, are now being affected by this war, and they're seeing that Ukraine is actually winning the war. They're being lied to that they are safe, and they're being lied to that Putin and the Russians are winning the war. I did find a lot of reports on what's going on there, and it continues. The money is running out. They're at tipping points but have been for a while. They will make a deal with Iran to get more drones or missiles. Currently, the Russian Air Force will not fly over Ukraine because it's too dangerous. And their Navy has basically been ousted from anywhere near Ukraine. They have been touted as incompetent by a lot of military experts. So Russia remains losing the war. They've been at a toppling point for a long time, but they're still going at it. I know it's taking too long. That leads us to today. Zelensky is made to go to Mar-a-Lago, not the White House, but Mar-a-Lago, because Donald Trump is basically not being the president of the United States, which is fitting because he was not elected president of the United States. Now, when Zelensky landed in Florida, there were no U.S. officials there to greet him. Trump rolled out the red carpet for Putin in Alaska a few months ago, but absolutely no U.S. officials. The ambassador to the United States from Ukraine was there to greet him. Basically, hey, I just saw you in Ukraine. Yeah, well, now we're in the United States, and I'm the only one here to say hello to you. So he goes out to Mar-a-Lago. Trump has an embarrassing little press, whatever, photo shoot. Well, not even answering questions, just lying and ridiculing the press. And then they go into the dining room where the meeting is. Such disrespect shown to President Zelensky. But Zelensky's standing strong. And then Trump says the press is invited, but then right away, before the meeting starts, he kicks the press out and he says, I'm not going to imitate him. I'm sick of imitating his voice, and I've been told by a lot of people, please don't do the Trump voice anymore. And actually, I'm doing it more seldom, and his voice is changing, so it's not even a good imitation anymore. I'm just going to slack off for the time being. I know Doug will be pissed, but everyone else wants me to stop, and I'm kind of sick of it myself. Anyway, Trump said, do you want food? You can go out in the hallway and have food, or do you consider that a bribe? If I give you food, will you write a good story about me? He thinks he's joking, I guess, but he's not. Everyone knows he's serious. He's a petulant piece of filth. He's not a human being. Anyway, it was just, it was disgusting. It was a gross, disgusting display, yet he is supposed to be the president of the United States. I want to now tell you that I woke up this morning and I saw a segment by Politics Girl, who is not, she doesn't talk about that the election was stolen. She doesn't go there. You know how I've been saying how a lot of people who won't go to the places that I go yet are starting to go to some of the places that I'm going. And you've heard me last week talk about that, this winter solstice actually happened last Sunday night, the longest period of darkness in a day period in the daytime in the Northern Hemisphere. And now the light comes back more and more each day. Politics Girl started to talk about some of these things, but she also sums up kind of why I don't want to do the show sometimes. I don't know what to say about these things. I keep telling you to be positive and that we're going to come to an end. But I keep having to tell you that. And if I say it like over Christmas, I was talking very positively, and then people were pointing out these videos about ice, and that they're even here on the east side of the Twin Cities area in Woodbury, it was announced that they want to build a concentration camp out there. Really, really negative news. So I'm going to play you, and this is a few minutes long. Please listen to it because I think she puts it together perfectly. All of the messages and certainly how I feel in the position I'm in doing this podcast. Similar to what she does. She's got a podcast. She's got a show. She does a lot of segments. She's so good at it. So I think you're going to really enjoy listening to this clip if you haven't already heard it. And I don't think you have heard it. I'm just going to play it and we'll come back on the other side.
Hi, guys. So I took a couple of days because my life has been insane and the time we are living in is weird and distressing. And if you are like me and you are feeling the weight of the world right now, please understand that you are not alone. I haven't been on here much except to try and help organizations I believe in because it's something productive I can do. And honestly, I haven't known what else to say. I always say I don't do the news. I explain the news. But I've been having a really hard time explaining what's going on here. I can't explain why Republicans don't care that millions of us are going to suffer and die when they take away any chance of affordable health care in the new year. I don't know how to explain how our Justice Department can just abandon the rule of law to protect an international sex trafficking ring, especially when they have pictures and lawsuits and affidavits, except to say that it appears they are running cover for the President of the United States and other powerful and important men who are clearly sick and depraved and should be stopped by our Attorney General or our FBI, but instead they are being helped by them. I don't know how to explain that our government is allowing basically 5 billionaires to take over our entire country. The media, the tech industry, our economy, all to saddle us with propaganda and endless corrupt surveillance. I can't explain to you why more Americans don't care that our country is murdering people in the Caribbean, or that we are potentially going to go to war again to steal another country's oil, or that our tax dollars are being taken from things like, child cancer research to just build concentration camps on American soil, or that we are shipping innocent people to torture prisons in foreign lands without a trial. I don't know how to make people care that we are allowing this administration to disrupt the entire international order and making our enemies our allies and our allies our enemies. How do I make people understand that the planet and the world order can't take 3 more years of this leadership? That women without choice who are forced back into the kitchen and the home will be just as miserable as our grandmother and our mother's generations were. But the Christian nationalists are selling our oppression like it's a solution. By some bedazzled wife rising to fame on the pyrotechnics of her husband's death. I don't know how to explain any of that. So I haven't said anything. But here's what I will say. We are in the season of light, the winter solstice, where the days begin to get longer. The end of a 9-year cycle in the Chinese calendar, the shedding of the year of the snake into the year of the fire horse. So whatever religion you are, whatever you celebrate, whether you're a pagan who brings a tree inside or a Christian who does the same, but also celebrates the light of the world through the birth of Jesus, or you're a Jewish person who is celebrating Hanukkah and the Festival of Light, or Kwanzaa where you're lighting the Kinara, this is a time of rebirth, of hope, of light, where people are supposed to come together, where we're supposed to seek not only the best in each other, but the best in our world. And we have been divided for so long that we have stopped looking for the good in one another. Our president's Christmas message called half the country scum. And I'm over it. I'm over the cruelty and the hate because it's not working for most of us. I think most of us know that. So whatever you are celebrating this season, and as we go into the new year, let us lead with love and with light, because we are in a dark time with dark people. And we're going to need all of our light if we're ever going to find our way out of this to something better. So happy holidays and rest up, because we really do have a lot of work to do.
So that is Politics Girl saying a lot of the same things you've heard me say recently. First of all, she goes down the list of all of the horrible things that are going on. And yes, we have to acknowledge that is going on, but that is part of showing us. And what it's doing, what dawned on me when she was saying these things is all of the darkness, the dark people were so widespread across the world and even within this country. Think of the list of people, the many, many really dark, horrible people. These people were spread all over the place, doing all kinds of things. And now they're all gathered in one place by Donald Trump. All of the darkest of the dark people are right there in one place. And a spotlight, only one spotlight is needed now to show on all of them. And they're being revealed. They're not able to fool people anymore. They're all in one spot. And all their lies are being exposed. They're being revealed. They can no longer do a podcast and have an audience. The right-wing blogosphere and podosphere, if that's a word, has crumbled or is crumbling. Charlie Kirk being assassinated, of course, that's a horrible thing. But now his wife is being revealed for the grifter that she always was. Actually benefit, like It's gross. I don't even want to say it. She's supposed to be a widow, but it seems like the best thing that ever happened to her was becoming a widow. And Charlie Kirk was no saint. And now the people who followed Charlie Kirk are all there in one building, being revealed for the horrible people they are. The Nazis starting to follow Charlie Kirk are now being revealed because his group, whatever they're called, Turning Point USA, is being infiltrated by the Nazis and being welcomed by people like J.D. Vance. Peter Thiel, that would be another darkness person, that's now being gathered by Donald Trump. And now the Epstein files are revealing people from all across the world. All of these dark people doing all of these dark things are being crumpled up into one little ball so that we can throw it out. The garbage. Instead of feeling overwhelmed and helpless because it's too widespread. It's no longer widespread. We can see it in one place. That's a new way of looking at this. All the villains are gathered together and being revealed. And now it's time to be done with them and be done with the darkness and bring in the light, just like is happening naturally here in the Northern Hemisphere. So thank you to Politics Girl. Thank you so much to you for listening to this show again. I'm keeping it short this week because it's the holidays. I hope that you had a great winter solstice/Christmas celebration with the people that you love to be with the most. I hope you had good conversation. And I hope you have a great new year. And by that, I mean full new year. I know 2025 was going to be completely different than what I thought it was going to be and what I told you I thought it was going to be a year ago. But 2026 is going to be completely different because of that. 2025 happened in a way none of us could have imagined. And now that it has, I think 2026 has the potential to be better than it would have been if 2025 had not been so horrific. It's not funny, but it's just like the absurdity. You got to laugh. So we're all in this together. Politics Girl points out that everybody is thinking this way. How do you feel inside? Well, it seems to be the same the way she feels inside. Same as the way I feel inside. We're all in this together. And by the way, the power of the people is gaining. I got a text talking about the new No Kings rally that they're trying to get going. Well, they're successfully getting going. And now they're saying we need to get 3.5% of Americans to participate in this because that's what turns a dictatorship over. Overturns a dictatorship, we need 3.5% of people to participate. We've already achieved that. And we, in fact, are overturning the dictatorship. It's taking too long. There's not going to be a single moment of it, but it is happening. And we're going to stick together. We're going to not let them ruin our lives or take away our joy. We're going to stick together and be strong for the people who really need us to be strong, to help them, the people who really are being affected by this. All of the things I've been saying, that's what we're doing. The power of the people. Politics Girl shows that we have a lot more people thinking in the same manner we're thinking than we thought. An overwhelming majority of everybody in the world and in this country think the same way you do, think the same way I do. Remember that. We're in this together. Let's support each other, help each other get through this. You're helping me get through this by making me sit down and have all these thoughts every week. It's therapeutic for me to do this show, to present to you, to hopefully be therapeutic for you. So I thank you so much for participating by tuning into this show every week. I can't tell you how appreciative I am of that. I will keep doing this show. I didn't think I was going to do it this weekend because of the holidays, but I did anyway. All right, I'm from Minnesota. Goodbyes take forever. So, my apologies. Again, thank you so much for listening. I will speak at you next week.
You've been listening to A Satellite View with Todd Mikkelson. Go to toddmikkelson.com for links and more information.